All right, this is how we'll start. Okay, great. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to log on to the WordPress website, and it's always the site's URL with the wp/admin at the end. And what you want to do here is log in. I sent everyone a login a few weeks ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago. So you should have a username and a password that came via your email. If you don't know where that is, what you can do is I used your email address. So whatever you use at sanchezfortexas.com in your email, use that as the username. And if you forgot, just click lost password. And then it should send you an email to get you to change your password so you'll be able to log in. So I'm going to log in right now. And there are two things that you wanted to work on, primarily like how do you add the videos, and also the other request was how do you make edits to the endorsement page. So WordPress can be a little bit overwhelming, but what I want you to just focus on is just the pages section. So I'll just click on this, and I would advise you not to really mess with everything else. So what I've done here, this lists all the pages that I have saved for the website. And what I do is I make draft pages sometimes. So I copy the original pages and I make drafts. So don't worry about the drafts. And I do that because sometimes clients change their mind and they want lots of changes. And then I make the changes. Then they want to go back and revert and all that. And so then that would mean that I'd have to undo everything that I did already. So rather than do that, I just make copies of the pages and I just leave them in drafts. So with these draft pages, like anything that you see that says draft, it's not published. So someone looking online can't find these pages. So you wanted to work on the video section. So that's on the home page, the main page, and that's on page 2. And so here. So the main page in WordPress, it'll always say front page. So when you type in sanchezfortexas.com, it comes to this specific page. And how do you make changes to this page? I'll show you what it looks like. I'll show you what it looks like on the front end. You've seen this a million times, but this is what it looks like on the front end. And so like one of the things that you wanted to change was specifically you wanted to add the marijuana YouTube video. And how did I do this? I'll show you that right here. So I'm gonna hit edit, and it's loading up. So what I'm using here is a page builder to develop this WordPress site, because it makes it easier. And like when you're ready to move on to like a new website designer, this is one of the most popular page builders. So your website designer should be able to use this to make changes and all that. So anyway, so blah, blah, blah. So the section that you want to be concerned about, so I would avoid this, the desktop and the mobile. These are all set up, and I named them these things. You don't need to touch these. This, let's just call this video so it'll be easier. Videos. YouTube videos. All right, cool. So what I've done here is I've told WordPress that I want half of the page, half of the width of any screen that the website is displaying on. I want half of the screen to be this. So as you can see here, it's half, and the video is the other half. So that's what you're looking at. So this is how this looks on the back end. So if you want to edit this section right here, what you do is you come into here. So under campaign video, you see this little icon here. You click on here, and then you go through the editor. And so all I did was come in here, type in the text that you told me to work on, which is the marijuana legalization, and I wrote that in and put in the URL. Sometimes, like what happens is that people try to copy and paste from Word into here, and that's not the best approach because the formatting gets messed up. So WordPress, what's cool about it is that it comes with a visual editor to give you a sense of like how things will look on the front end. But sometimes it doesn't always, like when you copy and paste, it doesn't necessarily come out perfectly how it looks on here onto the web page. So in order to like make sure that your formatting is like really consistent, what I suggest using, instead of using the visual editor, you come here to text, and this is more of the coding piece to it. So what I would do here is, like, let's say you want to add another video. What I would do is I would copy this, come down here, and don't even worry about moving this around. It's code, it'll fix itself, like once you hit save. I would just change the text. Like, let's say you wanted to do, I don't know, let's see, education video, blah, blah, blah. So we'll do that, education video. And then we hit update. And then another thing too is after you update, one of the things you have to do is clear out your cache, because the way that I've set up your website to make sure that it runs like quicker and stuff like that is that it's caching your pages. And all that really means is it's just saving the content of your pages. So when people type in your URL and go to your website, they don't have to keep downloading the entire website. Caching will save it the first time. So like when someone visits your website the first time, if caching is turned on, parts of the website, the static content is saved on their devices. So when they visit again, it loads like quicker. So like for that change that I just made, like after I did that, we hit update, blah, blah, blah. We do that. Just let it finish. It'll refresh the page. And then like what I would then do to make sure that the changes went through, hit purge all the caching. What this does is it's telling WordPress to refresh everything. A change has been made, and I want to make sure that those changes are reflective. So like now, like when I reload this page, you should see education. See, education pops up, and here's the URL. So we're going to delete that. We're going to go back here, same place, YouTube videos. Click here. We're just going to delete that. And that's how you update the videos. And I agree with your friend that reached out. Like, you should only have like one video, one physical video on your website, and then just link to the other ones. Because what he was talking about, like, you don't want to have multiple videos like this all throughout your website because it'll slow it down. So that's what he was referring to when he was talking about iframes and all that. So this format works just fine. Just listing them out and letting people click on them. So that should do that. So we've updated that, and like let's just clear the caching again to make sure it disappears. All right. So it should be gone now. Great. So it's gone. So yeah, so that's under the YouTube video section, and this was in the home page. So I'll take you back here again. So you go to pages, and it's on the second page because we have a lot of pages here. And front page. So that was the front page. And if you want, like, this is just like what I did to set it up. You can rename the home page if you want to something specific. So yeah. So anyway, so that's that page. The other page that you mentioned wanting to work on was the endorsements page, and that's it right here. And it's a published page. That's why you don't see draft on the side. You go here to edit. And then like I have it all here. So you come here and you click on this icon again. Here's everything, and this is how it's supposed to look like in the visual editor. But again, like I wouldn't use the visual editor to make changes like for these because sometimes the formatting doesn't come out all that well. So if you're copying and pasting from Word, you might run into problems. And it took me a little while to update these um, today. So I came here and just edited, did my editing through here. So again, just copy. Like if I wanted to make a change, I'd just copy this. I'd copy this, for instance. Bam. And then I replace the text like in between. So Barack Obama or something. And then I would hit save. And then I'd hit update. It's taking its time. Updating. And I'd hit purge, purge all the caching. Great. So like if I go to endorsements now, it should be reflected. It should say Barack Obama. See, right here, Barack Obama. So it's now reflected on the page. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete the Barack Obama part. Save to the original, update, same process. It's very routine. And then I'm going to clear the cache so it's reflected. And then that's pretty much it. One last thing I wanted to point out for you. There's a form on the page, on the web page, the contact form. So this is not important. This is the contact form that's on the main page. You may want to take a look at this. You may want to take a look at this to see like who's filling out the form, if there's any fields that you want to change. And this is what the form looks like. Actually, reach out to me if you want to make those changes. But you can click on entries. And these are people that have reached out, that have filled out the form. And you can, like, what's cool about this is you can download this into a CSV file, open it up, share it with your team to get a sense of like who's filling out the form and all that. And that's pretty much it. I'd advise like not to really like mess with anything else because there's a lot of things like happening like within this. There's a lot of plugins and a lot of tools that are loaded on the website. And if you want to avoid problems with anything, just don't really mess around with a lot. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and I hope that this was useful for you.